Shalom. Hey everyone. Come on in. I'm excited to be on here today. Oh, while we're already, getting in place and stuff, shout out to the Perpetual Power Prayer Warriors. I know. I can almost feel it. Like anytime we say it's time to pray, there's always those, those day ones ready, like, let's go. And yeah, you are real ones. I always think that the heroes, in terms of like earthly, apart from the Most High, will always be the saints. Period. So your prayers pierce clouds. And also we'll be doing Lamentations, the entire book of Lamentations. It's a short book. So after this message and a couple more messages, I'll try to help bring light and understanding into those chapters. But I think most of y'all probably already got this. So, but iron sharpened iron, each one reach one, all of that. So, shout out to the elder. He did an exceptional job on, the letter J, the origination of the letter J, and the pronunciation of it. He did the research to find out that the pronunciation didn't even come about until the late 1500s, early 1600s, I think. Also, the translation of our Holy Scriptures into the King James Version didn't happen until about 1611. Are we seeing a trend here? Then 1619, something else remarkably horrific happened. You see the line we're going in? 500 years ago, all these changes happened, right? So the J in Jesus didn't come around until 500 years ago, or Jehovah didn't come around until 500 years ago. And about that time, certain Europeans were ready to go put our ancestors black in, captivity. Okay, so I think he did a really good job. That it wasn't even in Latin, it wasn't in no other language. It just came around right about when our people were about to be deceived. And I say that like I say it. Deception. Strong delusion. They brought the new things to you because Hamashiach, or the Messiah, or who the world erroneously calls Christ, he walked the planet 2,000 years ago. Okay? 2,000 years ago. You mean to tell me you just now came up with a name for him 500 years ago? So what was the holy name that y'all was using to cast out demons? You just now started casting out demons? Because the Messiah and his disciples were casting them out. But what was the name that they were using? Do you think that if you went back in time to the time of the Messiah and his disciples and asked, can you tell me where Jesus is? You think they would know who you're talking about? Do you? Because they knew what real truth was. They didn't operate in delusions. They had the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, true language, for the most part, true belief, the disciples, everything. Okay, so to know that what the Europeans give you is the new stuff, but what we're telling you is the stuff about when Hamashiach actually, it was in existence. His real name, what he really was about. And the fact that not even Paul called himself a Christian. Paul says in Romans 11, verse 1, he says, I say then, have Elohim cast away his people? For Elohim forbid. For I also am an Israelite. Nobody put that in there, but it was written that. That's how it was translated. Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Now we know. No matter what we say, y'all are still going to be like, me, girl, pastor said they was going to come and persecute. Persecution is when they put their butt in prison. Like what happened to Daniel. Ain't nobody can persecute. They already persecuting you now. Okay? So if you could go back in time and ask them, and they weren't going to look at you like, what the? Then maybe. And if the fact that you are asking, why is this a big deal? I am very concerned. I'm very concerned about you. Because first of all, we the ones talk about, I guess you read the Bible, you've heard, woe unto those who call good evil and evil good. He's talked about bearing false witness in the commandments. You break one, you break all. So if you're bearing false witness to a fake name and a fake image that does not represent our Messiah or Elohim in any way, shape, or form, honey, you are a false witness. That's a character assassination of our holy, truthful Elohim. So you better know. That's why what came up and told you, prove all things, to hold on and hold fast to what is good. Because the Bible would have never told you, be not deceived if there wasn't deception. Seek and ye shall find if there wasn't hidden knowledge. And he surely, when it said prove all things and hold fast to those that which are good, if there wasn't a fact that you might be holding on to erroneous information, a delusion, nonsense, foolishness, arrogance, a lie. Okay? That's why he told us that. And then we go into 2 Timothy 3, verse 16. Let's see where 2 Timothy 3, verse 16 takes us. Because this is where it really takes it there. All scripture, let's start again. All scripture, not one, not two, not a few. All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. His word, his inspired word. Righteousness, not your pope's word, not your pastor's word, not your bishop's word, not your mother word, his word. And if it ain't come from him, I don't know what you need to say. You're supposed to seek understanding because his people are the oracles, which also means you are the temple for which the divine knowledge comes through and the understanding. So you can help your other people, each one reach one. Iron sharpeneth iron. Okay? We know they don't want you to sharpen nothing with dull knowledge. You ain't sharpening nothing. You live in a worldly lie and aberration to the truth. So he says that the man of Elohim may be perfect, truly furnished unto all good works, to keep you from listening to lies and following foolishness. Okay? His scripture, all scripture. Just like he said, prove all things, not 1 and 2, not 3 and 4, but all. So we have a right to prove whether or not the doctrine that they gave us is accurate or not. The name accurate or not. The image accurate or not. Because scripture says the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. I don't expect the wicked to give nothing righteous without dashing a little, trickery and wickedness into it. They ain't even telling you what they really are. Which leads us into the topic of someone asking if I think that this jab is the mark of the beast. Honey, I cannot affirm or confirm that, but what I will say is this. All the world knows about the mark of the beast. Everybody read the scriptures. Everybody was getting all hyped about it. Even last year when they were, just now throwing out the pandemic on innocent people. Yeah, I said it. What? Pandemic, scamdemic. They were out here marching, who your favorite pale people talking about. We are not taking the mark of the beast. Sometimes they do tell the truth when you least expect it. But I'm not going to go ahead and try to confirm nothing. But I will say, it's because everyone has knowledge of it. They're not going to be like, yeah, here, take the mark of the beast. Like, no, honey. What they're going to do, and probably have done, is create a worldwide panic. Tell me if you see any of that going on. Put people in a position of desperation and fear, and then come up with a solution and a need for that solution. Because out of people's desperation, they would want to do it and not question nothing. Just like y'all didn't question nothing when you ran and voted for another who was no different from the one you had before. He just goes about his stuff a little differently. But whatever, people want to, what were we supposed to do? Who were we supposed to vote for? I'm sorry, if you're a Hebrew, our laws, I ain't even going to go by Jeremiah 10. I'm going to go by the law. Let's go. Tells us not to go the ways of the heathen, not to take on the ways of the nations that you were scattered amongst. Did you not know that their way is this politics and politricks? They didn't need your vote. They needed your participation because they know who you are. They are not ignorant to that fact. The problem is you don't know who you are. Scripture says, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. And if you had 2 scruples about you, you should be asking, what knowledge am I lacking that will cause me to perish? Knowledge about yourself, knowledge about you, knowledge about them too. Let's go. Let me get into Leviticus, but I'm going to keep talking. The knowledge of self. Didn't say ignorance is power. It says knowledge is power. But what kind of knowledge are we talking about? Because let me be accurate. Because the last time I talked about wisdom, some of y'all went to some earthly wisdom. You went to some other realm of wisdom, some astrology and y'all are really foolish. Okay, that's real foolishness. You went to zodiac and all of that. Oh, you born in February. Well, let me tell you about yourself. Anyway, let's leave that alone. Wisdom I'm talking about is a wisdom like Solomon's wisdom. The heavenly wisdom. The wisdom that comes directly from out of the heavens. From the throne of the Almighty. This man talked to principalities and powers. He had people coming from far and wide to get his judgment. Hear of his advice and his counseling. That type of wisdom. Healing to the soul wisdom. Because there's a lot of knowledge just thrown around. All over the place. Okay? That's why when time comes and you try and the Most High asks you about, well, what did you do? You cannot claim willful ignorance, honey. You can just claim laziness or I really wasn't interested. Okay? I was trying to make my bag. Okay? I was trying to stack my money daily. Just go ahead and say it, honey. Just go ahead. I was trying to get my viewership up. Yeah. Because it's as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your mind, your conscience, your values. What do you value in life? It shows throughout your actions. So, as I was saying, lack of knowledge. That's why I talked about darkened heart and darkened mind. Will the people continue to remain blind to what is really going on? Or will you come over into the light and the knowledge of the truth? I'm out here. I'm turning these pages forever. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, or Ruth. Okay, so he says, give me a second. Oh, notice he also says Leviticus 24, verse 20, breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, as he hath caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. Think about reap what you sow. That's pretty much what it's saying. Whatever you do will come back to you. That's an understanding of why the saints are probably the most powerful. Because in order to be the saint, you have to refrain from sin. Because people think that just acting without borders or boundaries is powerful. That's what they delude you to think. No, power lies in your refrain from doing certain things, even though you have the power to do it. Refraining from evil, even though you could, because you have taken on this knowledge to realize I can hurt a whole lot more people when I participate. It might feel good to the bone, but my actions could cause other people more harm than good. So the power is in the denial, self-denial, the refraining from just doing everything like a bottomless pit, just having no limit, no limits, no boundaries, just go 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 go. Can't be satisfied, and we'll get into that. But let me get to Leviticus. No, I know I saw this somewhere. Just bear with me for a little bit. Oh, check this out. Leviticus 26, verse 6 says, "And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land." You know the beast and the sword are one, right? Cutting you off from your... Well, hold on. Just give me a second. I can't remember which one. Gotta read the entire thing. I didn't even write this down. Oh, here we go. Woo! Y'all still here? Okay. Chapter 20, verse 23. "And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them." Let's just read from 22 so you can get a better understanding. "Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Elohim, which have separated you from other people." Now let's talk. Why did he separate you from other people? Notice he said that their ways he abhorred. You got to read the scripture, lovies, because when you read the scriptures, especially your laws, don't be afraid. Right? Because knowledge is power, not ignorance. So heavenly knowledge, especially, this is why I go to the scriptures, and I don't care what nobody say about who wrote this and who wrote that. I'm not in it for your unintelligence this year. About, oh, the white man wrote the Bible. Girl, bye. You've been saying this ever since. If you don't have nothing else that is, more substantial to base your claims on, you could take a walk. Go mess with the Ish people. Go tell them about their stuff. See what happens. Because I know you're not going to do it. I know you want your little pale people to be so great. And honey, clearly they are great over a lot of you. But I'm reading the scripture because that's where the power lies. Especially when you come with conviction and passion. And you know my Elohim is greater than all of theirs. Okay? MLK's, he came with the European slave trade god. Malcolm, the Arab slave trade god. Some of y'all are still holding on to both of them that put y'all in bondage and still got you there. I don't even understand how you going to talk about Pharaoh, let my people go, when clearly it's your people who don't want to let go of the lies that they've been told time and time and time again. I think you need to reverse. Switch it and reverse it. And come again. My people. Let go. Let go of the things that are causing curses on you. Stop following in the way of the heathens. Do I need to document or detail what the ways of the heathens are? If they gave it to you, that's their way. Okay, for the most part. Now, the Bible, we know they stole our knowledge. Because, of course, whether you believe it or not, this is preordained. A lot of people think that the Most High was not angry. He said he sent his fire after Zion. He sent the sword. Wink, wink. Those of y'all thought it was Roman Catholic Church that received the sword? No, honey. It was his people in Zion. We're going to go into that. The head of the beast that received the deadly head sword but did live. They had us looking up in Obama's head back, in Trump's head back, in Harry Potter's head back, in make-believe characters head back. This is what happened when you follow heathens. Last time I was reading one of their scriptures, and they said the 12 tribes of Israel were the 12 disciples. At ignorance and error. That's what they teach in and lead in. And then you want to get mad at me when I said they shouldn't be teaching you. The only time they teach you is to delay and distract and divide you. D. Yeah. Delay, distract, and divide. Divide and conquer. If you know that that's how they conquer you, why are you dividing and allowing them to divide you, honey? I know there's some of us that are not very intelligent. And I'm going to say that when Tyler Perry or Monica, and Monica would have easily been one of my top 5 for best singers, honey, but girl, they always say she was cold-blooded. When you start representing yourself in a manner of things that you have no understanding or don't even seek understanding for, you can get your ass cut off. Okay, let's not play. Ass is mentioned in the Bible. Don't start with me. Okay, you can go ahead and get that cutting off because you no longer represent us. He's representing his own self-interest. Tyler Perry, Monica, that's what they were. I don't know which hidden sin it is that's so deep and so bad, but they don't represent us, honey. They're representing them and their puppet masters. Okay, you don't want to get into what Tyler Perry's really getting into. He just became a baby billionaire. And I sure know it ain't for that, what he's making and calling entertainment. Don't even get me started. Last time I started on one movie, I'm like, woo, child. I'm like, Lord, child. Everybody? Not another slave movie. Woo. I'm sorry, y'all. I just went there. But, so their ways equate to sorcery. Read the Revelation. Because they're the Babylonians. They're the Romans. They are the Egyptians. And that's why when black people call themselves Egyptians, you are automatically labeling yourself as a problem. You're a problem. Know what you're labeling yourself as. Ignorance is not bliss. Okay? So, hold on one second, y'all. Let's go to Revelation 18, verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So I don't know if the name that you saying is so great, why you need a syringe? You just can because we're not supposed to even say the names of their gods, because at the end of the day, whatever they're doing, they're trying to get you to worship Baal. Okay, they have never sought the Most High. They've always sought the Most Low. So I'm trying to figure out how, when, where would you ever think that the Most High would put his holy knowledge in these heathens? Don't worry, we're going to talk about the Gentiles that he's talking about. All right? But let's just get this clear. So if you read the laws and you understand, for those of you who do not, our laws are what we would call the laws of self-preservation. Our self-defense in a world where we are defenseless. Right? Once you hold on to the law, the Most High will fight for you. As he says in the scriptures, if you go hard for the truth, he will fight for you. You will be shocked. You will even see it looks like your enemies are fighting for you. And you don't even realize that. Don't mean you need to be all frenny and palsy walsy. Okay, stand your ground. But he the one said he sent the sword. That he what? Sent the arrow at Zion. Now, I gotta be clear with this because you have ignorance amongst us. And they love it. He didn't send it because y'all were little goody two shoes, angelic, sweetie, little ditty itties. No, he didn't. Read Lamentations. Get back to me. Okay? Read Ezekiel. Read it. Tell you about our people. And it hasn't changed today. Y'all out here, demanding strongly for your reparations. And what else pops up but the problems that we've always had? What we call them? Traitors, Judases. Bobo heads. they don't think farther than their noses. Because listen, they done got paid. Probably didn't need pads for what they did. And they pissed that you gonna get it like ain't didn't have to do nothing they had to do. Cause trust me, being a coon don't look like it's an easy thing. Cause getting along with white people is not easy. You have to be bowing real low. Try working around them, honey. You bowing real low. Because when you around them, they puffed up chests, babbling in them, the tower of high places. It's not an easy thing. So, let's not make it seem like you a coon, you working extra hard, bowing low. You more in submission to them than you are to the Most High. And so, let's just cover this and finish this out. So, yeah. The devil is in the details. That's why we said that Leviticus 31. Let's talk about uncleanness, pollutions, contaminants, and what was considered unclean. What was considered a contaminant or a pollution, or people seem to think this is my favorite word, but it ain't. Abomination. It's just like, I'm reading from the scripture, but some of y'all is like the conviction is deep. Out here creating abominations. Did a whole skit on it too, and I find, don't even forget it. Verse 31, thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith. Talking about the man's, ejaculations right there. Have an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him. So they're talking about, stuff. And of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue, of the man and of the woman, and of them that lieth with her that is unclean. Same thing with the woman. Her vagina and womb and things. So, listen. Uncleanness was a big thing. The law was given to the people to keep the people pure. Remember, you be ye holy as he is holy. He was given this to purify, sanctify you, and set you apart. So you weren't supposed to live like the world. This is why the Most High has had me crying out, separate. Now these heathens, they know. They have always known. They can't do without you. I keep saying, y'all, did you go to the Caucasus or Europe or a cave or a rock and go get them? No, you didn't. Did you go get them to build up your kingdom? They did that to you and our ancestors. So who really needs who? Deuteronomy 28 began when they came. So therefore, your curses began when they showed up, meaning that they are the curse. The devil is in the details. Lice is attracted to polluted, unclean blood. Yes, it is. But because y'all ain't doing no research, you just letting these people lead you all willy-nilly. Just a complete domestic abuse, most abusive relationship ever. Your white allies are all lies. Lead you wherever they want you to go. And you're like, yes, let me go. I'm coming with you. What you want me to do? Jump off this cliff? How high? Like, nutbags. It's really nutty. So, cleanness and purity. Like you ever heard the saying, God, cleanliness is next to godliness? It's truer than you think. I'm trying to get to the point, y'all. Oh, my chest hurts. I've been sitting down in this position for a while. Let me see. I found this verse the other day where it talks about leprosy. And I have watched some of your channels where you talk about them representing leprosy. And that is very interesting because lepers, when examined by the priests of Israel, were considered to be what? Unclean, were they not? And then they were removed from the tabernacle, from the sanctified, so that they don't spread their contamination until they're healed, right? They were put out. So, first of all, let's just make this clear. They the leprosy people, they don't look like they're getting better anytime soon either. But the Most High don't deal with uncleanness. Especially when you are permanent uncleanness. I know you want to talk about if you baptizing, you know the white people, they running to go get syringes because they lying. They know they lying. They know they lying. They lying about they baptizing change. Girl, bye. This is a whole different. You are a part of the supernatural issues that were sent against the people because of their being hell-bent on keeping the ways of the heathens and not the ways of the Most High. And the ways of the heathens brought diseases, death, destruction. But nah, y'all don't want to look at that. Let's go to, oh, here we go. So Leviticus 13. Actually, all of this really talks about leprosy. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. How many raw fleshes we've seen the sun try to burn out? Now, we're not talking about the albinos. Our albinos, okay? We're talking about those of you who, you conglomerate together. You know your people. You know all you was doing is trying to protect your white supremacy. You know your own. Okay? You know your own. We talking about you. He says what? Then the priest shall look upon it. Oh, wait. And if there be in the bald head or bald forehead a white, reddish sore, because let me say this. I got to talk about this because there was this white guy who posted about white Christianity and how white skin is pure. I'm like, are we really going back here today? Are we will prove it based on more than just what you about to say that is real? Because white skin, biblically, watch them come out now and say the Bible ain't real. And the white man wrote the Bible and man wrote the Bible. Watch them come out now. White skin was impure and contaminated and unclean. Let's read it. And if there be in the bald head or bald forehead a white reddish sore, it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white reddish in his bald head or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh. I still say what I said. They are the flesh, girl. Let me be. The Most High put it in my spirit. I'm telling you, you don't have to believe it, but I trust in His word. Scripture says, lean not on to thine own understanding. That's why some of y'all ain't getting this. I'm not leaning on my own understanding no more. I've leaned on His understanding, and I don't take it for granted. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white, reddish in his bald head, or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh. He is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. Ooh, it's a plague too. Like to hang around with plague. Because the book of Jasher told you that the people who came from a far nation were also the plague. Biblical scripture. Give me a minute. We gonna find it, girl. They took that whole book down. And I've read this. If you check any of my videos, I've said it before that the people who came from a far nation are the plague. I didn't say it, the book said it. But let's go. They are literally the everything that opposes the law in the flesh. Okay, some of y'all out here are rolling around with it. Why the scripture says, touch not the unclean things, that you be not partakers of their sins. But yet you want to talk about you putting them in the sanctuary. Yo, the strangers amongst us. The strangers amongst you ain't telling you no truth about themselves. Because if they're unclean, they shouldn't be in the sanctuary, period. And we're going to talk about Solomon as well and how that affects the mind when you are associated with unclean things. This is why he was telling you be holy, because let's just make this clear. Because we see this part of our Elohim giving the laws to the people to cleanse them. From the dietary laws to what to associate with and what not to associate with. But what insight is this giving you on the people who were living